This is Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top questions and things you struggle with most so you can have more energy and less decision fatigue about what to eat, how to move, and you can change your thoughts to flip 50 with the life and the energy you love in this second half. And we're here today with part 2 of our summer series, 10 easy steps for more energy. And today we're talking part 2, which is all about rewiring the brain. We're going to retrain your brain for energy with Christy Mattoon. Christy, how do we do that?
Yeah, thank you, Deborah. I'm so glad to be here again today. So retraining your brain is an exercise I walk people through all the time. And from health to nutrition, from doctors to diets and exercise, at the end of the day, your brain has built-in information that you got as a child. And that information comes back to you as thoughts. It comes back to you as beliefs about yourself and about the world around you, and also as emotions. And if your state or if your information and your state of being is stored in your brain, it takes on a chemical construction that comes back to you. And if it's coming back to you in negative chemicals, you're going to feel bad and you're going to lose energy. You suffer from chronic stress over time, and you may not even know why. The thoughts that you think when you're quietly sitting doing nothing can come from this place. And if they're negative thoughts, if you're sitting there thinking, or you end up with a fight inside your mind, a fight, inside your head, it's coming from that place where something happened in your childhood. And we call that the subconscious mind. So we want to be able to retrain the brain to be able to default to things that aren't harming you or hurting you, things that aren't giving you the negative chemical construction, or things that aren't forcing you back into fight and flight. The way you feel on a daily basis, if it's coming from your childhood and your childhood had issues, and even if it wasn't horrible, I get this from people all the time too, that their childhood was actually really good, but there was this one incident. And they just can't, 50 years later, they can't get away from it. So I want to help you retrain your brain and give you a way that you can actually do this that will help you think better on a deeper level and find a different chemical construction for your body. So there's many things that people do, modalities that they use, and ways to change your thinking. And you've probably tried quite a few of them yourself. You've probably used a lot of them, things like EFT or tapping. Reiki can do it, EMDR, cognitive therapy, TAT, energy work, and even a good effective prayer can instantly change somebody's thinking. But what I'm going to tell you right now is the method that I've used that's the fastest, that incorporates your physiology. And it's probably something that you do and you don't even recognize it. You probably do it on a daily basis already. And we're going to actively use it and trigger yourself or trigger your body into using it more productively. So what it's called is an idea from Brain Gym. It's called a whole brain state. There's different modalities that actually use this same kind of stimulation. It's a bilateral brain stimulation. Therapies like Psych K use it. EMDR uses it. Like I said before, Brain Gym uses it for all kinds of things. And when used in correlation to a specific subject, topic, or issue, it can actually seem like a miracle. And I believe it's actually the way that God set up our systems. We just didn't realize it or know it. So this is how it works. This is what a whole brain state is and how you can retrain your brain with it. So a whole brain state is basically crossing midline of your body, right? We do it all the time in exercise and movement. If you're listening to a person talking to you and you find your arms crossed in front of your body, it's usually because your brain is trying to assimilate or understand or process the information. So we're going to put ourselves into that state intentionally to different issues. So by crossing your ankles and your wrists, we seem to get there faster. If you look up a video on YouTube by the founder of Psych K named Rob Williams, you'll actually see him using this process in his video. And so what I want you to do first is think of that thing that you're working on. What is something that you're either trying to get into your life or something that you're trying to stop thinking about? What is it you're working on? And then the second part is decide what you want instead. What is it you're really wanting to see in your life? And usually it's going to be the polar opposite of whatever that first part was. So if you have a thought going through your head, and I'll just tell you the one that I struggled with for years was that I wasn't good enough. And that's a really typical one for a lot of women, is we're just not good enough. So you take that idea and then you ask yourself, what do I want instead? Well, I want to be good enough. Well, what does that mean? So really define it. So for me, what it turned into was I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be good at moving. I wanted to be good at doing the things that I enjoyed doing. So you write a statement that opposes almost a polar opposite to the thing that you're fighting against. So my statement was simply, I am strong. And then what you do is you're literally going to cross your ankles. I'm thinking, I am strong, or saying it out loud, and then feel your feet. And what you're going to notice is if you cross one way and then cross the other, one side is going to feel stronger. And what this correlates back to is the idea that the right half of your brain operates the left half of your body. The other hemisphere operates the other side. And when you cross midline, your brain has to sort for stability. It has to look for stability inside your system. So think about doing a bicep curl, right? Your arms are on either side of your body and you're pumping up and down. What has your brain done? Your brain is stabilizing muscles. So if you punch one arm across midline of your body, what does your brain do? All of a sudden, your muscles have to start retensing and refocusing to keep you upright and stable. So your brain is constantly stabilizing. This works the same way with thoughts, memories, belief, and emotions. So while you're thinking about that statement that you want, so my statement was, I am strong. I'm crossing my ankles. I do it one direction. I say my statement out loud, and then I feel my feet and I just notice. Then I'm going to change and go the other direction. And again, I'm going to feel my feet and just notice. What I want is the direction that feels the best. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my wrist. I'm going to say, I am strong. I'm going to cross my wrists. I'm just going to feel. I'm going to go the other direction and just feel and just notice which direction feels better and then stay in that pattern. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to sit and you're going to keep repeating your statement over and over. You can say it out loud. You can say it quietly to yourself. I am strong. I am strong. I am strong. What you're going to notice is as you're doing this is eventually you're going to feel a mental, emotional, or a physical shift in your perception of that statement. You may start out not believing that statement at all, right? Because it totally opposes what you think about yourself on a normal daily basis, that I'm not good enough. But if I'm strong, that makes no sense. Sitting in this pattern makes your brain stabilize to the new idea. For me, what strength turned into wasn't just physical strength. And I talk about this a little bit more in one of the further down series when we go through this. It's an interesting thing how all of a sudden your brain will start to grow and process this new concept and idea. So you're going to repeat that statement until you feel that shift. It can take up to 5 minutes. And the cool part is that's it. It can take up to 5 minutes. You're going to end up with a different perception. And you're going to start to feel different. It's going to give you different chemicals in your body. It's actually going to raise your energy and make you feel better. Here's a cool thing you can do this with. You can take all your old affirmations and put them into a whole brain state until they start to operate and feel real inside your system. So I use this technique all of the time for people for all sorts of things. My biggest example of this right now is a guy that I was helping pass his bar exam. He couldn't get past it. He had taken 6 out of, the test 6 times. And he was ready to quit, even giving up on his dream of being a lawyer. And we're talking yearly. This is spanning over years at this point for this poor man. And I give him a ton of credit because he kept going in and trying. And the cool thing was in 2 weeks using this technique, he got brave enough and got himself back up on his feet. His brain was able to find and process the information and all of a sudden recall it easily. All of a sudden he went in to take his test. He just now got the word back the other day. He actually passed. He's already got a job and he's already moving forward in his life. So when you use a technique like this, sometimes it's the instant, right? 2 weeks and we had this guy done. Once it's into your subconscious mind, all of a sudden that becomes your go-to. It becomes a new default. So that's what I want you to think about in retraining your brain. The goal is to make the idea, the concept, whatever, a default inside your system. So it's automatically there when things come up around you. Using this technique can get you there pretty quickly.
Awesome. Oh, I love it. Okay. So listeners, here's your homework. Here's your assignment. So in the comments from today's show, you're going to get all the links to connect with Christy. If you want a little bit more feedback, you also have a request from us. So I'd love for you to share your what you want statement. What is it you're going to repeat as you cross your ankles and cross your wrists and get into that position? Write it down, share it with all of us. And next time, here's what you can expect when we come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about what Christy just teased in terms of affirmations and talk about how to say yes to affirmations for energy. If you've got a question, leave it below the show link, but definitely leave us your what you want statement. What is it that you're repeating? Below our show notes at flipping50.com/podcast Summer Energy Series. And what are you waiting for? Start Flipping 50 today.